So Joseph, your journey to the whole customer experience thing, I think it's a unique journey. Can you sort of give us an insight into how it all started? Where did it all begin for you?
Yeah, I was in graduate school and I had an opportunity to go and work with a guy who had a little fish market in Seattle, and they were floundering, excuse the pun, but they were floundering. And so he was looking for a way to elevate the experience, and they were super concerned about quality fish. The best possible fish they wanted on the stand, but they treated customers pretty crappy. And so I got to work with Johnny Yokoyama, one of my all-time favorite human beings. I think of him as kind of a surrogate dad who really empowered me and his entire team to learn how to make a difference for customers.
Yeah, that was an extraordinary story. Did you get to chuck fish in there?
Absolutely, not only chuck fish, but you get up early in the morning, and you have to actually put what they call a fish show. So you have to shovel all the ice onto the stand, and then you have to place the fish on. And in the dank dark of Seattle some mornings, your fingers are kind of bleeding from just the experience. So you feel good at the end of the day when you've not only just displayed the fish nicely, but you've created a memory for people when they come to Seattle. That's something that they throw the fish and there's somebody videotaping them and they're sharing it on their social. And those guys feel like they're experience creators, not just people who are manually putting heavy fish onto a bunch of ice. The Pike Place Fish Market literally sits in Elliott Bay in the Pike Place Market region of Seattle. About 1,000 yards down from that fish market is the first Starbucks store. And so Howard Schultz took a very big interest in the Origin store. He would go there frequently. And they were watching what was happening at the fish market. So if you go to the original Pike Place store for Starbucks, they throw cups. Part of it's out of the design of the store, but part of it emulates that same energy that comes from throwing fish at the fish market. So Howard Schultz was very much aware of the customer experience of the Pike Place Fish Market as he would visit the Origin store of Starbucks. So I started working for Starbucks. They were aware of the book. I ended up writing my first book about Starbucks called The Starbucks Experience. And I got to work with Howard Schultz, who I think is an incredible visionary when it comes to telling that he's not in the coffee business. He's in the people business, serving coffee, not reverse. And I think he inculcated that. They grew in ways that went way beyond his dreams. He just wanted to be able to get to Portland, Oregon, which is 2 hours south of Seattle. And clearly they made it there and a little bit farther. And they continue to grow. It's just an amazing story there. So that was my next one. And then I wrote the book called The Starbucks Experience about that, which then leads to the Ritz-Carlton Hotel Company having read that book and working with me on the writing of a book about them.
So you're aware how much we've used that Ritz-Carlton book in the early days, the birth of our own customer experience journey.
Yeah, so my journey with Macquarie may be longer than people would realize. Many years ago, if I look at my customer relationship management database, there was a contact from someone at Macquarie saying, hey, we're using the new gold standard. If you're ever in Australia and you want to come and meet with us, or if we might have some kind of event sometime, we want to reach out to you. And through time, I kept track of them. And Macquarie has always been, for me, one of those brands that, if I ever had the right constellation of things, I would want to tell their story. You get locked in my business to going with lead brands, the brands that people are going to see on a bookshelf and they're going to go, yeah, I touch that brand, it touches me, so I want to know more about it. I kept saying, just because you're not known doesn't mean we shouldn't know you. There's a lot of people, I think most of us can relate to not being high profile and high prestige. What we are hardworking people who are trying to make the world better. And we want to learn, how are people able to do that in business? How do the good guys win? And so this is that story for me. I'm at a point in my career where I have the ability to say, I'm not just going to play the game of the common household name. I want to tell the story. So I hope people will go with me on that and take the journey, the road less traveled, if you will, and really learn what I think is going to be a far more meaningful lesson, one that's far more relatable to most of us who are not big mega brands. If we were them, they'd be writing about us instead of us needing to learn from someone else.
So what do you think? I'm a business leader. I want to change my business. I want to deliver either at industry level, at my own business level, a whole new customer experience. How useful will this book be to help me take those first steps in the way the Ritz-Carlton book helped Macquarie to take those first steps?
This is a roadmap for success as a business leader. Look, I believe most people who run a business want to deliver great human experiences. We do. I mean, we're human beings. We are customers. One day we're the customer, one day we're the service provider. We want it to be fabulous. The problem is, how do we actually execute it? How do we make it happen consistently? How do we know if it's happening? How do we measure whether or not our customers are not just satisfied with us, but engaged in our business, that they're kind of extensions of our sales team, that they want to go out and tell other people about these amazing little moments they had in service with us, because then they have something interesting to talk about and they kind of validate they made a good choice. And all day long, the goal is to create a great guest experience. It's the warm, nurturing nature of hospitality. When was the last time you felt warm and nurturing and got a hug from your telco, right? Or when did you think technology was warm and nurturing? If they can do it there, we can do it anywhere.